Hey everyone, today I wanted to review the movie Hostel starring Christian Bale, Rosamund Pike, and Wes Studi. There wasn't too many reviews of this actually on YouTube that I could find, so I figured this would be something interesting to review. I just saw it for the first time last night on Netflix, and I wanted to give my opinion on it. This movie follows Christian Bale's character primarily, who is a Union captain in 1890s. I can't remember the exact year, but he's given the task that he does not really want to do by his colonel to escort Wes Studi's character, whose name is Chief Yellowhawk, and his family to the land that he lived on so he can die from he's got cancer and he wants to die on the land that he had lived on for his life. And so he and Chief Yellowhawk were rivals during the war, or at least at some point. A lot of the Native Americans, the tribe that he was a part of, had killed his Union soldiers. And so you can tell the whole time that he does not want to do it, and he makes it obvious. And then just the way at first that he treats Chief Yellowhawk and his family, he does not see them so much as people, but as almost animals. And so throughout the movie, you see how his opinion of him changes as things happen. They run across Comanche, and this movie does a really good job of not so much villainizing one side. We see at the very open of these Comanches attack a certain family, and then you see on the other side the Union soldiers beating up these Native Americans and then putting them in prison. And so you see how both sides are basically no one's good and no one's bad. It's the point of view that they see each other from. And since it's during that time period where Native Americans were viewed as villains, and they viewed whites as people who are just taking their land and trying to just bring disease and death to their families. I thought this movie did a good job of portraying both sides. So, yeah, in terms of what I did and didn't like, this movie had, I thought, a lot of good. I'll start off with that. The cinematography is really nice to see. It takes place in like the Midwest, a lot of Montana you see, and it looks really nice seeing that whenever they're walking across just even a field. And then there's a scene later on where they're on top of like a mountain and you can see the sky. That's really nice looking. I can imagine this in 4K would look really great. I only saw it on Netflix, which I didn't have the upgraded 4K for Netflix, so it's just 1080p. And I think it was for some reason even streaming in like 720, so it still looks pretty good. But yeah, the characters have a lot of depth. Like I said, they kind of change throughout. They're really dynamic, and how Rosamund Pike's character kind of gets involved with this group or this escort is something I don't want to get into, just because it is, even though it's right at the beginning, it's an escort type of thing, or it's a spoiler type of thing, and how she gets into him escorting her. It's something I don't want to get into because I was actually told what happened, and that was something I kind of would have liked to have seen on my own. So yeah, you see every character change. How at the beginning she changes and befriends the Native Americans. He changes and starts to see their point of view and looks at them instead of enemies as friends, and how people that he once served with can change over time. There's a character who had seen too much war and how it affected him mentally, how he couldn't take it anymore. And then you can also see the comparison of how a soldier who just recently, this is I believe his first, maybe not his first mission, but it's his first time he had to kill someone, how it affected him, and those two get together and they talk about it. I thought that was a really good scene, and there's a lot of chemistry between these actors. There's a few different actors in it that that play short roles, but they're still really good. Ben Foster is a Union soldier in this for a short time, and also, I'm not sure of the actor's name off the top of my head, but he was in Breaking Bad. He was also in Game Night. He was the police officer in Game Night, who was pretty funny in that, and he was one of the villains in Breaking Bad. I don't think I've seen him in too many other things, so that's why I didn't know his name. But yeah, I mean, this movie doesn't have a whole lot of action, but it is very good whenever it's used. So the pacing is a little slow, but you know, whenever you do see action, it's, I thought, really well done. There's a scene where they sneak into a camp at night to get the women back that were stolen by these fur traders, and just them sneaking down into the camp, and they run into the tents, and there's a fight. And even though you don't see the fight, you just see what the aftermath of it is, and them coming out of the tents covered in blood, and who's alive and who's not. It's a pretty interesting scene, even though there's not really so much action. It's just an intense scene. So that's probably the scene with the least amount of action, and I still really enjoyed it. But yeah, in terms of some of the mixed aspects, there's nothing bad about the movie, I didn't think. But if you're not really into slow-paced dramas, then you might not like this movie. It does have a little bit of predictability to it as to where it's going to go, just because, you know, you're going to have a movie where someone has to have character development, and he starts off hating Native Americans, and by the end, you know, he's going to befriend them. And some of the, you know, like the people that he goes up against were just like the way he was, and he kind of changes his mind as the movie goes along, as he gets to know Chief Yellowhawk and his family. So it's a movie, though, I could say that I don't know if I'd rewatch it anytime soon, but I probably still will buy it in 4K just to see what it looks like. And it's a movie I probably will rewatch, not probably time and time again, because it is, I believe, almost 2 hours and 15 minutes. So with that slow pace, you do kind of feel it at times. But it is overall a pretty good movie, and I would recommend it to any fans of like Western movies, or someone who has an interest in Native American culture or that time period or anything like that. I know I have a friend that is, actually two friends I found out, that are Native American, and so they would probably find this interesting, just to learn more about, or I should say, just to see a movie that, you know, what that time period was like, and just seeing how the Union soldiers were and how some of them change. And I don't know, apparently it has some true stories to it. I don't know what they are, but I found that out after I watched it. And so, yeah, I still recommend this movie. Like I said, if you've seen it, let me know what you think of it. If you haven't, you know, I'd recommend giving it a watch on Netflix. It's free if you have it. So, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.